Hello, welcome to the Joy News Desk with me, Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson. Coming up this hour, former Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister Charles Owiredu questions President Mahama's envoy shake-up, why sideline career diplomats. We have more here on our desk. Also, some lawyers question the existence of LI 2462 as a joint calls for government to repeal it.
That's why we're saying that this LI is useless. It's of no legal significance. It doesn't add any benefits to our management.
We have details coming out shortly as government impounds more than 1,200 excavators at the country's ports.
Who is really now the lead in terms of fighting the Galamsey menace, has impounded 1,250 excavators at.
Also on our desk, we bring you the latest Hotline documentary, Scars of Hooliganism, as Joy Sports Harina Mubarak uncovers brutal toll of fan violence on key stakeholders, including players, referees and supporters. These plus business updates on our desk. Don't go away. Now, why the uproar over President Mahama's latest ambassadorial appointments? After all, Article 74 gives him the constitutional mandate after consulting with the Council of State to name Ghana's representatives abroad, a practice long upheld by successive governments. Yet his first batch of 15 envoys, which includes familiar names like former Kumasi Mayor Kojo Bonsu, ex-KNUST Vice Chancellor Professor Kwesi Obridanso, and actress Kalsum Sinari Bafo, sparked controversy. Now, former Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister and Ebirim MP Charles Owiredu is raising eyebrows over the decision to replace 3 seasoned career diplomats just 6 months into their postings. In a statement on X, he questioned the wisdom behind sidelining experienced hands for new political faces. Now, according to that statement, he says these 3 ambassadors, Vivian Kafui Asempapa, who was going to Senegal, Matilda Alomatu in Austria, and Regina Apiasam, Spain, were recruited into a Ministry of Foreign Affairs under President Jerry Rawlings and Foreign Minister Victor Beu in 1999. According to him, by dint of their hard work, they rose through the ranks and were commissioned as ambassadors by President Akufo-Addo in November 2024 after 26 years working at the Foreign Ministry. They've been at post for just 6 months as ambassadors. These are some of our finest foreign service officers. Why have new names with their replacement been submitted by President Mahama? What is their crime? These are career officers for Christ's sake. Now we'll be delving more into this conversation with Dr. Yao Gebe, a senior fellow at the Ghana Armed Forces Command Staff College, and he's also with the National Defense University, Teshi. And also joining us in this conversation is a former diplomat and businessman, Michael Yao Ofei, joining us for this conversation. And Dr. Debe, we're grateful to have you here. If Michael too is here, we're grateful to have you. Will you unmute and speak to us? Do we have them on the line? Okay, so I understand former diplomat Michael Yao Ofei is on the line with us. We're grateful, so grateful to have you, very privileged to have you. You've been in the service before, since the 1980s. You've gone through the ranks, very astute diplomat for that matter. I mean, this list of ambassadors that have been deployed or nominated by President John Mahama, I'm sure you've seen the list. What do you make of that?
Well, some of them are career diplomats, and Some of them are political appointees. Like any other country, the president has the prerogative of appointing political leaders to also head our embassies. Normally in the diplomatic service, when I joined some 50 years ago, about 80% of the jobs are occupied by career diplomats. Then the president or whoever will be in power will normally, within its prerogative, nominate people he feels can help him when they are outside of the country with a proper representation, trying to go investors, try to have a good relationship with the countries involved. So overall, I think I don't have a problem with the appointments, except that sometimes we make mistakes of appointing people to places that I personally feel will be occupied by career diplomats. But again, it's a prerogative of the president. He knows why this person or that person goes to this country or that country.
So for you, what should have been the considerations? Charles Owiredu is raising concerns about these 3 career diplomats that were, posted to Senegal, I think, Austria, and one more. These, I don't know whether to, categorize them under category B plus or C countries. We know the category A countries as well. Do you share in the plight of Owiredu?
Yes, normally the category A countries, we call them, are China, USA, the United Kingdom, France, Canada, a couple more. They are considered a category A country. And normally career diplomats are sent to places like that. Occasionally, the president may send his political appointees to those places where he feels that with whatever background they have, he is thinking that they might be able to perform for him in those areas. But normally, career diplomats go to these category A countries. Now, we in the foreign service normally would prefer that, or when I joined the service, for example, if you are posted out from A1 through A5, the diplomats are the people who occupy the deputy ambassador position right now. So, but I think in recent past, presidents have appointed other people as deputy ambassadors, people who are not career diplomats as deputy ambassadors and so on. This is quite unusual when I joined the service.
Right.
Because political appointees are normally ambassadors. As I said, this is the prerogative of the president. But deputy ambassadors down is normally occupied by career men. The reason is that since the ambassadors, the political ambassadors don't have the experience in diplomacy, when you have the deputy and the next to him and so on, they are the people to guide the ambassador who is a politician or a technocrat, to guide him as to the direction of how to run an embassy or how to make contacts with institutions within that country.
Right.
So things have changed now, and
So I have with me Dr. Yao Gebe. We'll come to him shortly, but let me find out from you, Michael. So, in this position now, do you see the appointments as opposed to having experience to academic qualifications? So, for instance, in the case of Kalsum Sinari, who we've known mostly in the public light as an actress, but we also understand that she has a master's in international relations just a couple of years ago. Just opposing that to the position she now will occupy, do you think that comes as a disadvantage to the country, taking away that particular woman who happened to be there initially, Regina Piasam, who is a career diplomat with over 20 years experience? How do you see how this plays out?
Qualifications is not the only criteria in appointing ambassadors, for example. Experience also counts. Even we, as for diplomats, when you are first recruited, you go through vigorous training. Sometimes you are sent outside of Ghana, to train for 3 months to 6 months, depending on the situation. So even as a career diplomat, you learn on the job, but you are trained to what to do in case you are posted outside. But most of these technocrats don't have that kind of training. And sometimes it's very, very difficult. I know that they go through some kind of a short orientation, like induction course for a week or two, but that's not enough. That boils down precisely to my earlier point that when you have a deputy ambassador, for example, who's a career man, then he will be able to guide the ambassador in a number of ways. So qualification, it's okay, but you need experience in the diplomat, a little bit of experience in the diplomatic area if you're not a career diplomat to be able to perform. In the case of Council Sinari, I know her casually. I know she's an actress, she's a very popular person in Ghana. I don't know her capabilities in terms of running a country like Spain. I don't know. But I would hope that even with a little training or with a little induction course she might be going through, you could have deputies who are career people who might be able to guide her.
All right. I'll come now to Dr. Yaugebe, Senior Fellow at GAFC and also the National Defense University there in Teshie. We're grateful, Dr. Yaugebe, for making time for us this morning. I mean, you've seen the first batch of 15 ambassadors that have been nominated by President Mahama. Do you also share the same concerns with Michael Yalfe and Mr. Owiredu, former Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister, on some of the appointments that have been made, especially recalling career diplomats positioned at Austria, Spain, and Senegal?
Thank you very much. When it comes to ambassadorial postings or appointments, it depends on the government which is making the appointment, not necessarily the individual.
Right.
Apart from the fact that we have career diplomats working at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs who deservedly are given those appointments. Any other appointment is political. Those are the types we call political appointments. So it is the convenience of the government in power. So if they feel that certain individuals, either because of their contribution, position in the party, and for that matter, their representativeness on the part of the government abroad, they can appoint them. So it's not necessarily about experience, but sometimes they are attachment to the government in power.
So how do you juxtapose experience as opposed to politics, or academic qualification, which in this case has been the bone of contention for many who think that for a country like Spain, you need some level of experience to deal with the powers that be in that country and also to preserve the economic ties that we have with the country?
You have mentioned three items. You've mentioned three items: politics, academic, experience. All of them are necessary. And if any individual can have all the three, the better for the country in question. In this particular regard or particular instance, we have career diplomats who have served this country, some of them 30, 40 years before even they are appointed as ambassadors or high commissioners. That is to the benefit of the country, and for that matter, this country. But political appointments, not necessarily because of their political affiliation with the government in power, but maybe because they have the requisite experience as well, so they can serve the nation or our country in this regard. Mind you, it also depends on the country they are being posted to. Sometimes even the language is considered, the religion is considered, political affiliation is considered. So all this comes together which lead us to the appointment of a particular individual. So if you are talking about the list that has come out, the 16 individuals who have been appointed, that is the prerogative of the government. We can continue to analyze whether somebody is qualified or not qualified. At the end of the day, our discussions will not lead to any kind of elimination from the list. I only pray that the government will continue to do the best for this country in terms of those who represent us. And mind you, there is also what we call the prerogatives, the decision, the interest of the nation in question. For the last period, maybe the last 20, 30 years, particularly under the Fourth Republic, every government which has come into power emphasizes economic diplomacy. Economic diplomacy, and our ambassadors and high commissioners are oriented, taken through some induction to appreciate the need for them to push that agenda, economic diplomacy. And I hope that the same thing will be done for these 15 and probably other individuals who will be appointed in that regard, so that they do the best for this country.
Well, with the president's current term of 4 years and having to make these nominations, would he have the time to orient these people if they don't have the experience in these countries, especially category A, category B plus countries, where you need some astute diplomats to represent the country and also, you know, push the country's interest? Would they have enough time to orient them?
No, the orientation is normally before they are posted. They are not oriented while they are posted, unless there is an emergency call or there is the need for them to come back for any other kind of orientation. But I'm associated with the training of our ambassadors newly appointed most of the time. And this orientation or induction, in fact, not the induction, but orientation, opening them up to appreciate the enormity of their task, where they are going, the kind of things that they should be encountering. For instance, the interest that our country has, the kind of diplomatic relations that must be cemented with the countries they are being posted to, and a whole lot of other issues. For instance, currently, you see that we are in an international system where there is a lot of conflicts going on.
Right.
What should be the position of Ghana on these issues in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, Africa, you name it. So our ambassadors being newly sent or career diplomats are all brought together to let them learn, discover, understand, and position themselves in such a way that they can actively and appropriately represent this country. And so that's the way it is. As for the length of the government in power, President Mahama is doing 4 years, yes, but we don't know the eventuality of 2028. So there could be continuity, there could be change. All the same, new ambassadors, new high commissioners are always appointed, depending on the the interests or the prerogatives of the government that have come into power. So that shouldn't be an issue, or that shouldn't be a problem.
Well, you also train these people, like you rightly said, and if they come right out of school, should they be posted to such positions immediately?
Out of school?
Yes.
No, I've never heard that happening. Normally, some level of experience is needed. Unless for any serious development, I don't think that somebody who is just out of school, I don't know what kind of degree or what kind of training or qualification, I have not encountered that. Unless it's
out of your university where you teach them international relations and what comes with it? Diplomatic relations. I'm talking about those learning international relations, diplomatic relations, and whatnot.
Yes. Oh yeah, sure. They are, I mean, we're talking about even the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where their candidates, their diplomats are taken through sometimes a year or 2 years in active diplomatic training. That's what we have, the Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy at the University of Ghana. So these are individuals who are well trained, equipped to represent the country, not necessarily in an ambassadorial or high commissioner position, but they serve as foreign service officers.
Right.
Foreign services officers, depending on the category that they are being posted for. It could be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Normally, category 1 class. They are normally posted as ambassadors. So they are normally already appointed and having the experience to represent the country. And it's not limited just to Ghana, it's international, it's global. So certain requirements, certain objectives, interests are always out there for those individuals who are appointed to be able to do those that the nation or the country thinks are necessary in terms of representing the interests of the country in question.
Thank you, Dr. Yao Gebe. Let me have the last word with you, Michael Yao Fei. So how does this, reflect in our relations with other countries or on the international platform?
And I think mostly, as I said earlier on, I would prefer that most of the category countries are occupied by career diplomats who have trained. For example, I myself, I came with an international relations degree in masters. I had a bachelor's degree from Cambridge, but I had training in Canberra in Australia. I also was in the Tufts School, Fletcher School of Diplomacy at the Tufts University, one of the Ivy League school diplomacy, where I was there for 3 months. So apart from even the basic training that you have in the ministry, you always have the opportunity to go out there and then study proper diplomacy or advanced diplomacy so that you'll be able to perform your duties very, very well. Most of the time, we send people to places like Australia. I know most of Australia is very high in the mining industry. And most of the people that have gone there have concentrated more to bring mining investment into Ghana. Also in Canada is the same thing. Places like Spain, Italy, they are good in ceramics, tires, etc. And so most people that are sent there are people that have acquired a little bit of experience in that area on that front as well.
So Michael, what I'd like to know is, how does this reflect our position in international circles when maybe the president appoints political heads that may not necessarily have the requisite experience? How does that reflect in our international relations with other countries, or how do they view us?
Well, as you may know, before the president will make the nominations, and then before they are even posted out, their names are sent to the respective country to see if the countries will approve them. There are a few cases where the countries might not want Agua Misa or Kofi Bentil or Kojo Mosu to come for several different reasons. So it's not only the nominations or the appointment that the president has made. These names will be sent to all the countries by the foreign minister to say that we are assigned so and so to your country as an ambassador. So it all depends. I don't know if you said how does it work out in terms of economic cooperation and so on. It depends.
Okay.
If the country feels that the person has a background that they feel will not be suitable for them to come to their country, that will be declined. But I know of a lot of cases like that.
Right.
The name will go to the countries, and the countries will have to decide whether indeed they will accept these individuals.
All right. Thank you so much. Michael Yao Fei is a former foreign diplomat from Ghana, and we're grateful for their time on our decks. Now, moving on, the Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly is demolishing weak and dilapidated buildings across the metropolis. And this follows the death of 2 individuals after heavy rains on Saturday morning caused an old story building to collapse in a community known as London Bridge. Metropolitan Chief Executive George Justice Arthur said the Assembly had already identified high-risk areas and has moved swiftly to pull down structures deemed unsafe. He spoke on the AM show.
Some tools and other, excavators and other things available so that they will be able to save them or evacuate or retrieve them from the place. Honestly, about 5 of them, 3 of them were able to be retrieved. And 2 of them, after we went through hassle to ensure they were also retrieved, but they were elderly persons. They were actually passed on. So it was a sad event. It was a sad news for us. So they were sent to mortuary. 3 of them were also sent to hospital. As at now I'm speaking with you, they are receiving treatment at the hospital as I'm speaking with you.
So following that, 3 buildings have been demolished. That's at yesterday. I think Saturday rather, not Sunday. Who owns these buildings?
Yeah, if you come to Cape Coast, you realize that most of the buildings are ancient buildings. They were built from 1902, 18, so because Cape Coast is an ancient town with a lot of history. So they are, most of them are dilapidated. They are in dilapidated state.
Does it mean you don't know the owners of these buildings? You're saying that there are a lot of them in Cape Coast, so you don't know the owners.
We know them. We know them. We spoke with the owners that looking at the situation and trying to actually prevent this from happening again. We just have to talk to them to ensure that their burden is demolished. So they agreed to it. We built consensus. They agreed to it that we should do that. And that is how come we are trying to demolish most of the burden. And we are still talking to some others. As soon as they agree, we need to.
Well, let's get details from Central Region's correspondent Abigail Asel in Nkrumah, who joins us with the very latest. Abigail, what more can you report about this demolition exercise ongoing?
Yesterday, the demolition exercise started following the incidents of a collapsed bridge, which caused the death of 2 elderly people. The MC ordered for swift demolition, and it has started. It started actually on Saturday. I've been able to speak to some community members, and they tell me that some of these buildings have been there since 1960. And for one of them that was demolished, no one has lived in it for about 6 years. So there have been no maintenance. Some of them are chipped with no roofs, but they are still standing. But the mayor has been able to identify all these buildings, and he tells us he has spoken to some of the owners who have agreed for them to be demolished, and others too, they are working to identify the owners, speak to them so that they can agree for all these buildings to be brought down to, protect lives in the area. So for now, the demolition exercise is still on. I also have information that the regional fire commander, Mary Atiga, is also on her way to the site to observe the situation. We'll be bringing you updates also from that visit.
Thank you so much, Abigail Asel in Nkrumah. They're giving us the updates from Cape Coast in the Central Region. Well, there is fear of a possible reprisal on cargo trucks from Boko operating in the Northern Region, following the burning of a vehicle belonging to a member of the Northern Regional Cargo Union. The union is outraged about the incident, calling it a deliberate attack. They're asking relevant authorities, especially the police, to investigate the matter. Martina Bogri has more on this report.
Been series of vehicle burning in the Boko conflict, with the latest incident recorded this June affecting business owners who operate in the area. Addressing the press conference in Tamale, Secretary of the Northern Region Cargo Union, Zakaria Ahmed, explained that the driver of the vehicle with registration number GT 1664-DC had stated he had no connection to the Boko conflict. Nonetheless, the vehicle was seized and later set ablaze.
On June 15 this year, a member of the union, a driver by name Mr. Alasan Sumaila, had his cargo car with register number GT-1664-Q seized and burned by some youth in Boku when he was carrying biscuits from Tamale to Boku. Mr. Alasan Sumaila did everything to explain to this group, who took the law into their own hands, his mission and how it was to not connected to the ongoing conflict in the area, but they turned deaf ear to him. When he decided to run for his life, this lawless youth still chased him to the nearby police station and took his car away, only for him to see pictures of it flooded on social media in a burnt form. The matter was reported on the same day to the police in the Upper East Region Police Command, but nothing, absolutely nothing, has happened yet.
The union said the cargo vehicle was Mr. Alhassan Smiley's sole source of livelihood.
This it's not the first time a commercial vehicle was targeted and destroyed by person engaged in the fight in the area. The only time it was Butcher's car that was carrying kettles, and now it is us. But it should remain the last. We demand the vehicle from Mr. Alassane Smaila because that is the only source of the livelihood for his family.
Well, Martina Bugri is joining us with more details on this particular development. Martina, what more can you report about this? Has the police taken action on their report?
So what we know is that the National Intelligence Bureau visited the union after the press conference to engage with them. As at now, we do not have any information whether the police has intervened or not. But the little we know is that the NIB was there yesterday to engage these people. I spoke with the union chairman again this morning, and he says that it is getting intense and they are unable to guarantee the safety of vehicles that come in here to do business, especially cargo trucks, because their guys are threatening to attack any vehicle that comes in from that area. And so they want the police to take action. They want the culprits who were in the burning of their vehicles in Boku arrested, and they want a replacement of the vehicle that was burned. If not, they cannot guarantee the safety of cargo trucks that come into the area. Not just Tamale, but the northern region.
Martina, have you had any response from the police on their threats?
Not yet. As we speak now, we haven't had any information from the police yet. But what, like I said, that is the National Intelligence Bureau that has visited them. But the police, we are told they have not come to them yet.
Right. Thank you very much, Martina Bugri, with that very latest update from the northern region. Well, some lawyers have joined the fight to repeal LI 2462 in a bid to force government to end illegal mining. Speaking on the law on Sunday, one of them, Clement Kojo Akapam, said reversing the president's power in the LI does not solve the problem.
We're saying that this LI is useless. It's of no legal significance. It doesn't add any benefit to our management of our natural resources. If you take this LI away, Kingsley and his group can still undertake their environmental impact assessments anywhere. The Forestry Commission will be able to give entry permits. We all want our resources to be managed efficiently, sustainably for the benefit of all of us. If you take LI 2462 through the lenses and you do an analysis, you realize that this LI was just put in place to achieve a certain aim, which is clear. The jury is out there. The point I'm making is that if you revoke this LI, nothing will happen. If you amend this LI, there is still a provision in that LI that allows a certain liaison committee or steering committee to manage a certain 0.6% of our mineral resources paid by mining companies without taking it through the processes we have put for the management of such resources. That is the canker of this LI. This LI does not serve to protect any mining anywhere. It doesn't serve to set any guidelines whatsoever in practice because the jury is out there. When we had only guidelines in 96, 97, and 2001, these guidelines had no legal backing. Our forest reserves were protected better.
Our government has impounded more than 1,200 excavators at various points or ports across the country. Deputy Government spokesperson Shamima Muslim disclosed this on Newsfile on Saturday, describing it as a bold step toward breaking the supply chain that fuels the canker.
The government of Ghana, through the IGP, who is really now the lead in terms of fighting the Galamsey menace, has impounded 1,250 excavators at our ports. We are working with DVLA to track all of these excavators because obviously there are supply and demand issues. So we are trying to deal with those blockages. What are these excavators coming to do? And if you do not have proof that you're bringing these excavators in for construction work, you don't get to clear these excavators. Meanwhile, DVLA is working to track existing excavators in the system. We are using technology, as we speak, live technology, flying drones in forest areas to ensure that we capture activity in real time. The government of the NDC did make some specific promises regarding banning on mining in forest reserves, as distinct from the general Galamsey menace that borders on illegal mining.
Thank you.
No one who is really, and in fact, with the coloration, there is no coloration to breach. If any member, and I can say it for a fact, that at the highest level, decisions have been made that no member of the NDC found in any illegal mining activity will, under the guise of being a member of this government, go scot-free.
Thank you.
No member
Thank
of
you.
this party.
Thank you.
And that is
Hold on.
In Ghana, football is more than a game. It's a passion, a lifeline, and a way out. But beneath the cheers lies a growing danger that has turned stadiums into battlegrounds. In our latest Hotline documentary, Scars of Hooliganism, Haruna Mubarak uncovers the brutal toll of fan violence on key stakeholders, including players, referees, and supporters.
The darkest day yet. February 2, 2025, Nsantreman FC versus Asante Kotoko, a match that should have been remembered for football, but was not. Nsantreman won 1-0, but the victory was marred by chaos. Tensions boiled over on the pitch and in the stands, and in the end, a Kotoko supporter was stabbed to death. Ever wonder how it feels to lose a husband? Gifty's pain was palpable and almost unbearable.
Wakache mi so hema misi yes wakache mi se mani ulem misi mu be ulem mate 3 o'clock mi kuno wona menti se mi kuno Jesus ready hu me mobo wate ready hu me mobo ijo nyankopo hu me mobo ebeneze nya me misi hu me mobo me de
Football stopped. A 33-day mourning. The Ghana Football Association responded with enhanced protocols, but the pain ran deeper than policies.
Mr. Speaker, I was very sad to hear my colleague mention that they were struggling to get very simple first aid. You don't have ambulances. You have no business playing football in such a field. That is a death trap. But we go there and nothing happens, so we think that is a football field. No. What was the police situation at the football field? Where were the police? What was the requirement of security that was supposed to be upheld in the stadium? In this particular instance, the information we have is that this young man had been threatened prior to the match and that the security agencies should have known that what happened to the young man could happen. I would like to call on you to direct the Ministry of Sports to take this matter very seriously. And that if the GFA cannot follow rigorous protocols for licensing our football stadia, we should not be playing football as a country.
And the full episode is on our social media platforms. You can catch a glimpse of that. Also, 3 days, hundreds of patrons, dozens of vendors, and one powerful message. Home ownership dreams are within reach. The EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair Clinic at the Achimota Retail Center wrapped up on a high note. Jacqueline Asumayeba brings you the highlights in this wrap-up report.
These metal doors on the second end, oh my goodness, they're absolutely wonderful.
Throughout the weekend, the fairgrounds buzzed with excitement as foot traffic steadily grew. Patrons came with diverse goals, some in search of land, others seeking interior design inspiration, and many simply eager to learn. But they all left with one thing in common, a deep sense of satisfaction.
Oh, it's actually been amazing. I mean, they've been friendly enough. One lady actually assisted me. Was actually dragging me to download an app and buy one of their services, and I think it's a good thing.
Amazing. When I was driving through, I heard they were interviewing few reps here, and it was interesting. I've visited few stands.
They have interesting offerings, so I think I encourage everyone to come here. And,
I was about to tell you that you should tell the camera that whoever is not here should make it here.
Yeah. So make it here before 6.
Returning and first-time exhibitors say this edition brought in genuine buyers, great visibility, and strong leads.
As the day goes by, we get more people coming in to do more requests. So today has been a very busy day for me. As you can see, I'm sweating profusely on my face. Yeah. So thank you so much for this platform to market ourselves and what we sell. We thank you so much.
Experience is very splendid, very wonderful. I mean, it's been amazing getting more customers there. It's so nice. So we look forward in partnering with you people for long, because we wouldn't have come this time around if we are not soliciting or getting any good something in return. It has been a massive change since we partner with Joy Prime, and we look forward to partnering with you people. We are going to Owiredu.
Head of Marketing at the Multimedia Group, Max Fuga, says the success of the Achimota Clinic is only the beginning. He assured patrons that more mini clinics are on the way, or building momentum toward the main event later this year.
The next clinic will be next month at the Accra Mall. From the Accra Mall, we are going to Tema. From Tema, we are going to Owiredu, which is the new addition this year. And then the main fair will take place in August at the Accra International Conference Center.
As the lights dim on the Achimota edition, one thing is clear: the path to affordable, comfortable, and luxurious living is just getting started. Jacqueline Asumayebo's report read to you.
To me, can I get a little bit of discount? There are no discounts here. Oh, there are.
Little discount.
This is Joy News Desk. We'll take a break. We'll return with business.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darrell Kwao. First Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Zakaria Mumuni, has highlighted the growing impact of mobile money services in advancing financial inclusion in Ghana. Speaking at the 2025 Africa Financial Inclusion Policy Initiative meetings in Accra, Dr. Mumuni underscored the need to address mobile money fraud and strengthen public trust in the digital financial ecosystem.
Mobile money accounts now exceed 70 million. Introducing millions of first-time users into formal finance. And here we have been talking about inclusion. This is one area where in Ghana we are having an explosion and getting a lot of people to be financially included in the ecosystem. But with this growth also comes greater exposure. Complaints about failed transactions, fraud, and service disruptions are rising. Our response has been multifaceted, strengthening consumer protection, including complaint resolution protocols and disclosure standards, expanding financial literacy, particularly for women, youth, and the underserved communities, partnering with schools, religious bodies, and civil society organizations to promote digital safety and early awareness. We believe that financial inclusion must be built on trust. Trust in the system, trust in providers, and trust that grievances will be addressed fairly and swiftly.
In other news, the Ashanti region is expected to become Ghana's hub of aviation excellence and luxury in the coming years, following the start of construction works to develop a modern and sustainable airport city in Kumasi. The project is expected to be completed in not more than 2 years to boost economic activities in the region, whilst fostering convenience for visitors home and abroad. Emmanuel Bright Kweku was at the salt cutting ceremony at the Prempeh, the first international airport, and filed this report.
Phase 1 of the Kumasi Airport City project will comprise suites of 1 to 3 bedroom apartments, sky suites and penthouses, offering residents the convenience of connecting to any part of the world from the comforts of their homes. The project, partitioned into the Greenwich Luxurious Homes, Kensington Heights, a 5-star hotel, the Cinnamon, a Grade A office building, and Best Western Premier Hotel, are expected to redefine the living experience in Kumasi and accelerate economic growth in the Ashanti region. Stephen Owusu is the founder of the HDG Homes.
So our vision is to create a city with roads that are done, with pavements where you can walk. My favorite is to be able to walk on the road and not share the road with a car. We are going to have gutters that are all underground, just like you see overseas. Our roads are going to have clearly marked areas for bike. Yes, there will be bike lanes at the Kumasi Airport City. And as you can imagine, there's going to be a lot of greens and a lot of trees. And you will see it all around you. We are going to make sure that we plant a lot of trees and a lot of greens all around us. This used to be the garden city of Ghana, and we want to bring that back.
Highlighting the housing deficit in the region, Ashanti Regional Minister Dr. Frank Amakohene is positive of the economic prospects of the city to the region's development.
As a country, we have almost 1.8 million deficit of housing units. And with this said, Ashanti region, we have almost 5.4% of that as a deficit for us as a region. When people do not have conducive and the right households to live in, it goes all the way to affect every aspect of the society: health, education, city beautification, sanitation, and all that. We believe that this investment is going to be the downtown for Kumasi and, for that matter, Ashanti region. It's going to be a role model city, a model city that would cause us to learn from what you're doing. We know very well that this will ginger a lot of the gathering here in choosing Ghana as your destination, or even Ashanti region as your destination for your investment.
Otumfuo's Hiahine, Nana Professor Ohineba Boache J. Owahine II, who represented the Asante Hine, admonished the regeneration of Kumasi. He urged policies that will attract more productive investments.
The country needs policies that encourages and rewards private endeavor and minimizes the risk to investments. For there is no doubt that Kumasi, as the second capital of Ghana, needs massive regeneration. The jaded image of the Kumasi Garden City needs to be spruced up. More important, Kumasi needs regeneration as the industrial powerhouse of the northern sector of the country.
In a space of 2 years, this dusty and uncompleted environment you see today will host some of the country's luxurious homes and high sky buildings, transforming Kumasi's skyline into a palpitudinous and magnificent spectacle. From here in Kumasi for Joy News, my name is Emmanuel.
All right, wondering what Kumasi will look like in 2 years around the airport. Well, back to you, Mamisi.
Well, we hope for the best for them, don't we?
We do.
Well, that's it for Joy Business and also for Joy News Desk here. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson. There's more news on myjoyonline.com.